Hi, Tulsa WordPress Meetup group. My name is Lindsay Halsey, and I wish I were meeting with you all live today in Tulsa, or better yet, at least live via Zoom. But unfortunately, I'm just back from Europe, not feeling 100%, and I'm going to be having to rest the rest of the week. So I wanted to create this video for you that basically shares the content of the day. I'll also include my content information at the end. And right now it's lindsay@pathfinderseo.com so that you can reach out to me with any questions. I want to make this as interactive as possible due to these limited constraints, and share with you some ideas about how you might grow your business in 2020 by adding SEO services to your arsenal. So let's dive in. I've been working in the SEO space for the last 10 years at an SEO agency that I founded with a partner. And what we've really found is that when we think about what makes for great SEO, things like great user experience, lightning fast page speed, mobile friendly, responsive design, unique and quality content. When we think about all of these things, these ingredients to success in SEO, the people we think that are doing the best job delivering this value are web designers and developers. You're already doing SEO. And so our encouragement today is really for you to grow your business, grow your recurring revenue by offering SEO services. Stop selling only design and development. You're already doing SEO, and we want to get you the credit or the revenue for that service you're providing. So let's look at some reasons why you might want to offer SEO as a service. The first is because you can maintain relationships. You can stay in touch with your clients in an ongoing partnership with SEO services. They're typically delivered on a monthly basis, and thus you have constant communication and a really close partnership around communication. The next is you can solve a problem. Getting found in Google is nearly a universal problem, and you are totally equipped to help. The third is it's going to help you win new business. Your sales process will be more competitive because you're going to have a more comprehensive solution that goes beyond creating a website and also helps them grow their business by growing their traffic base. The fourth reason, and perhaps the most important for your own business, is it's going to help you build recurring revenue. SEO services are best delivered on a long-term basis. SEO is really a long-haul type of game. And so if you can offer SEO as a service, you can create a new monthly package for your clients. But I don't only want to look at the green side of the grass here. I want to also think about why you might not want to offer SEO as a service. The first and most common we hear people say is they lack expertise. And really, when it comes to SEO expertise, what we really think is that you don't actually have to be an SEO expert to deliver really great value and really great results. What you need to do is follow a process, and we'll dive into that more in this session. The other reason is because SEO is just frankly overwhelming. There's so many tools, so little time. It can be really hard to imagine how you're going to learn something that is as comprehensive as it is. And kind of the side to this is that if we break SEO down into its component parts, which we'll also do today, you're going to find that SEO doesn't have to be overwhelming for you or for your customer. The third reason is that SEO changes too much. It can kind of feel like a game that once you learn, it could just change overnight and leave you with that fear around what if you walk into the office and your clients have tanked their rankings and they've fallen off of the face of Google. And the good news here is that SEO evolves more than it changes. In the 10 years that I've been doing SEO, I haven't had a single day in the office where I've walked in and felt like, oh my, I can't actually, contact my customer and tell them this bad news. They've fallen off the face of Google because of either something we've done or something that's changed in the SEO landscape. Instead, it's a total evolution. And when SEO evolves, meaning the algorithms change a little, if you've been following a holistic strategy, what you're going to see is your clients' rankings only matter to improve. Let's pause for a minute and step back to understand your customer's pain. They find SEO to be too expensive, too complicated. They might feel like there's too much data or that SEO just simply takes too much time. You can overcome all of these challenges in conjunction with your customer. We highlight with here because SEO is collaborative. The ingredients for success that we're going to break down today include the pitch, the pricing, and process. Let's start with the pitch. The first thing I want you to do as you're pitching SEO services is to imagine asking the right questions. Some of my favorite questions include, 1, how have you approached SEO in the past? When you listen carefully to a prospect's answer in this moment, what you're going to find is that there are a lot of different things that you can glean out of their answer. You can see how much they value SEO, how important it is to their business. You can gauge their experience from they've never done any SEO to they're total experts. You can hear what their pain is. Was it around cost? Was it around results? Are they just simply feeling overwhelmed? You can see if their expectations seem in line with reasonable expectations at this junction. And then you can learn a bit about their team. You can hear about if it's one marketing manager you would be working with, a whole team of content creators, or maybe just the business owner and your existing point of contact that you've been designing and building websites with. So one question can unpack a ton of information for you. The second is, what would your business look like if Google sent you twice as much traffic as they do today? With this question, we move away from just simply selling SEO to selling the destination. We start to get the prospect to imagine the future of what it would be like if they were ranked number 1 for their desired keyword space. You can imagine a story for, say, if you were a restaurant and the restaurant is trying to grow, it's brand new, it's in a competitive space, and they want to rank, say, number 1 for Boulder restaurant. That might be a lofty goal for a brand new restaurant in a big location like Boulder. But as you ask this question, what you can do is get the person to move away from thinking about just, hey, I want to rank number 1 for Boulder restaurant, to what it actually means for their business. This destination for them might be things like, hey, it would mean I'd be able to hire a restaurant manager so that I wouldn't have to work 7 nights a week as the business owner. It might mean, hey, I'd be able to employ a stable group of people year round instead of just having a seasonal employment base. So as soon as we get our prospects to envision the future, we start to help them understand the value that the service that you're going to provide is going to deliver. The next tip I have for selling SEO services is to avoid industry jargon. We've all been there, sitting in a doctor's office with a doctor speaking to us in a language that we don't understand, using technical medical terms designed really for a doctor and not so much for a patient. We don't want to have that type of relationship with our prospects or our customers. And when you look at the words on this screen, rich snippet, canonical tag, 301 redirects, these are all the types of words and phrases that as SEO professionals, we can throw around in everyday language and not really realize that we're leaving the prospect totally behind. And so whether I'm talking to a customer on their first day of an engagement or their 100th day or 10th year, I try to avoid this industry jargon as much as possible. Some ways to do that are to come up with sort of a language that you can follow where you can avoid using some of the buzzwords. So instead of saying SEO over and over again, I often use the phrase getting found. Everybody can identify with the desire of getting found on Google. What they don't always identify with is the acronym SEO. The other is a featured snippet. Instead of saying we're trying to help you get a featured snippet in the Google search results, which means nothing to most people, you can say, hey, we're trying to get above the number 1 result. We're trying to get into that little space at the very top of Google where they actually pull information out of your website and put it directly on google.com in the highest position. The third tip for selling SEO is to set clear expectations. In the SEO industry, what you're going to find is a huge variety of services and value. And what we don't want to do is have a huge disconnect between what we might be setting off to in the beginning and around setting expectations and what we can actually deliver. When it comes to expectations, we think of a couple of things that are really important. The first is that SEO is collaborative. We think of it as often having like an 80-20 breakdown. As an SEO provider, I can do 80% of the heavy lifting for you, but I'm going to need you to contribute the other 20% and letting them know that that means things like teaching me about your business, maybe asking partner businesses to link back to your website. Different tasks, I'm going to need you to approve content or maybe even write content, depending on how that breakdown is going to occur. So the client needs to understand that SEO isn't something where they sign on a magic line, talk to you 6 months later, and you have built a world of traffic for them. The other expectation I like to set early on are, what are the next steps? This is really just general selling best practices. When you're in the pitch process, you want to let them know what they can expect from you. Will they get a proposal? Will you send follow-up questions? What are the next steps to keep the ball rolling in the sales process? Third, how soon will they see results? This is the most common SEO question that we face. And third, when are they going to hear back from you? This ties back to the next steps, but you can really set your client expectations off right by saying, hey, I'm going to deliver to you an SEO project proposal on Monday, and then actually achieving an earlier date and sending it to them the Friday before. So setting those timelines and then actually delivering on them really gets projects off to the right start. To summarize, in the pitch, we want to ask the right questions. We want to move away from selling SEO to selling the business's future. We want to avoid industry jargon, and we want to set clear expectations. Let's talk more about pricing. At our agency, we've created a standard pricing model that we follow, and I want to share that with you. You're going to see a lot of different pricing models for SEO out there. You have people selling one-time or hourly services. There's the monthly engagement, and then there's some combination of a one-time project followed by monthly. You can tell by the screen, we really go with monthly primarily and occasionally a one-time project with monthly to follow. Within our monthly services, we break it down and offer 3 different tiers of service. This ensures that we give people 3 options to meet sort of their desired budget and results. The 3 tiers of service include awareness. These are for people this project is for people that are thinking about, how do I just get started with SEO? How do I get a toe in the water? Action. This is for people that are asking, how do I get results? They're starting to move into a results-oriented position. They have defined goals and they're really ready to take action. And then accelerative. These are for businesses that are asking, how am I going to get next year's results this year? The right price within this matrix is going to depend on the industry. If we look at an example pricing matrix, we're looking at our 3 tiers of service, and then we're looking at a gradation from low competition and low spend to highly competitive and high spend. On the local business side of things, we typically see local competition and relatively low spends. And so our pricing matrix ranges from $300 a month to get started to $1,250 a month for a more accelerative pace. What I can say about most local businesses is they fall somewhere in the action arena. If we look at another industry like travel, this is an industry that has some large players and some medium spend. So we have to shift our work up. We're delivering more value by delivering more results in this space because it is more competitive, and thus people are able to pay more. They're getting more value. Their return on investment is higher, but we're also going to have to invest more time. And so I'm not necessarily equating my hours to these metrics, but I know that to be effective in a more competitive industry, it is going to take me more effort and more time. If we go into something like insurance, this is a highly competitive space with high ad spend. So we're going to need to shift our pricing matrix up even further. So whenever I'm delivering a proposal with pricing included in it, I'm always breaking down based on this matrix. I'm identifying which category the business falls into, from local competition to highly competitive, and then I'm offering the 3 tiers of service. What we find is that a couple of things can make people very comfortable with this pricing model between the 3. The first is knowing that they have the flexibility to scale up or scale down as needed. So depending on your terms of service, we typically go with a 30-day notice. We let our customers upgrade or downgrade their services as needed. So most people will come in at an action-based plan and sort of like that middle of the road option, knowing that as they build in momentum in SEO, they may be able to actually rely on less of our time and less effort and drop down to more of an awareness level project months down the road. I think in this given climate today, this is even more important for businesses. in 2020 with uncertainty on the line around business. If you can come in as a partner and allow for that flexibility without giving up too much predictability in your own business, I think you're going to establish a partnership much more quickly because the business knows that you're there for them and you're not locking them into a 12-month agreement at a rate that they're not 100% sure they can fulfill. Ultimately, with our pricing matrix, what we're trying to do is price our value and not just our hours. That being said, I've been in your shoes too, starting to offer a new service within our agency and wondering, how am I going to model pricing? Feeling like maybe I don't have the expertise or the knowledge to even know how to price my value at that point. So you can definitely go from having this kind of pricing matrix to also calculating out your hours to say, okay, I think I'm going to invest 5 hours a month in this project and I want to be billing $100 an hour. So this project, at the action level for 5 hours of my time a month is going to be $500. That's certainly a valid place to start. And what you'll find is that you'll be able to move into this more values-based selling over time. Lastly, I want to talk about process. Really, this is all about how are we going to deliver the service. So we figured out how to talk about the service, how to pitch it to our customers. We came up with a pricing model. Now we need to be able to actually deliver the service and deliver the value that we've promised. Years ago, I used to work as a mountain guide on Mount Rainier in Washington State. It's a 14,000-foot glaciated peak, and we would take brand new beginner climbers from sea level all the way to the top over the course of a couple of days. This was totally overwhelming for most of our customers. And for us as guides, which is comparable to what you would be doing as sort of a leader in the SEO space for your customers, I'm going to hit later here. So as mountain guides, we would be responsible for dealing with all sorts of variable conditions. The snow conditions could be different. The hazards were different. The weather was always different. And the clientele was always different. Different varying fitness levels, different experience. And so what we did was to break down this really large mountain into a process and to follow that process consistently. So every time we took clients up Mount Rainier, we practiced self-arrest, what to do if somebody were to be falling. This is just one of the many examples of process and how we broke the mountain down into a series of incremental steps, literally. And what we found by following this process is we could deliver higher value. In this case, the delivery of value is safety. And secondly, the ability to make it to the top of the mountain. So when we think about SEO, I often think back to those days as working as a guide on Mount Rainier and how am I going to break down SEO into a monthly process, something that I can follow consistently to ensure that I'm delivering the value that I've committed to. And when I think about my monthly process, I break it down into really 3 core areas. We have reporting, communication and collaboration, and then action items. Let's look at each one. For reporting, there are a lot of tools out there that you can use to deliver a monthly report to customers. Typically, the monthly report I deliver to customers looks like an email that includes either an attached PDF or a link to the data that I'm referring to. And in that email, I include things like, here are the results from the past month, here's what I've been working on, and here's what I'm going to work on in this upcoming month. So I report to my customers via email to give them results data, and then also what am I doing that is actually actionable to move the needle. If you can do that second piece of the puzzle, you're ahead of 90% of the SEOs out there who are just simply delivering a report with little insight and certainly no action items. When it comes to reporting, there's a couple of different ways that you can create a report. Typically, the data sources you're wanting to hook into include Google Analytics, the Google Search Console, maybe some ranking data so that you can track your keyword rankings over time, and then Google My Business to look at local data. There are some tools out there, of course, that can help you with this. Google's Data Studio is one of those tools. It's free. It hooks into most of Google's products, not surprising, and allows you to create a custom report that you can export each month into a PDF and deliver to your customer. The next would be SEO software. SEO software such as SEMrush, Moz Pro, or Pathfinder SEO These are all tools that are going to deliver to you the ability to build a custom monthly report or have one for your customer that you can leverage at this point in time. Reporting is one piece of the puzzle. Communication and collaboration is the other. You, as the SEO, are like this river guide in the back. Your team, your clients, are all invested in the long-term objective here. They're all trying to get down the river safely and have a lot of fun along the way. And they need to have a paddle in the water as best as possible. And your job is to steer the ship in the back. You're still certainly putting in work, just like this guide is, but you're also trying to encourage your team to do the same. So we think of collaboration as being the foundation of SEO. When I think about this, I think about our overall goal. Websites that excel in organic search, they excel in 3 areas. They share their expertise via content, they have strong authority via the links pointing into their website, and then they engender trust from things like their about page, the ability to contact the business, the user experience that you've worked so hard on to make sure is awesome on the website. Websites that excel in these 3 areas do really well in organic search. And if you're going to help a business grow in these 3 areas, you're going to need collaboration and you're going to need communication. Along those lines, it can be really helpful to have a framework or a lens you can apply to SEO to help you guide your communications with your clients. This is the common lens that I like to use, called the 4 pillars of SEO. It breaks SEO down into 4 different compartments so that a customer can understand where there's opportunity and where they already excel. So when I think about technical SEO, this is the first pillar, and the reason is because this is the foundation. This is how Google is able to crawl and index a website. Next is content and user experience. Once the search engines were able to crawl and index a website, the content and the user experience is what they find that shares that expertise. So it's really paramount that a website has that expert content easily accessible on the site. We take it one step further and we go into on-site SEO. These are all the things like page titles and meta descriptions, alternative text, having really great headers. These are all the elements of a web page that help the search engines derive more meaning from the content. So they get more meaning out of the content by having really nice structure in the page with headers, because they can see what the content organization looks like, and they can even extract content information out of it. A page title and a meta description is going to help them market the web page in the search results. So these are all the things that fall into on-site SEO. And then lastly, off-site SEO is this whole world that goes beyond your website. You could have the best website for any given category in space, and ultimately it's not going to do well in the search results unless it also has authority and trust. And you grow your authority and trust via off-site SEO. Off-site SEO involves things like local search, so making sure your Google Maps listing is dialed in, participation in social media, having really strong profiles in things like LinkedIn and Facebook, and then lastly, and the most important, your backlink network. This is that neighborhood of links that your clients' websites live in that give the search engines context around how awesome that business truly is. And so if we break SEO down into these 4 pillars and we clearly communicate to our customers, here are the 4 pillars, and here is how you're doing in each one, they can much better understand the overall strategy we're trying to deploy. So you may say, hey, we have really technically sound SEO. The search engines can crawl and index your awesome WordPress website. And here's evidence of that via things like the Google Search Console. But really we're feeling pretty light on content. Here's some pages, they only have 100 words of content each, and they really don't share your expertise. Let's spend the next month or 2 working together to grow this pillar of SEO before we move on to the next. Those types of discussions like that, for example, are going to really help your customers understand where they are in the realm of SEO and the why behind what you're working on, what you're collaborating with them on. So this moves into action items. This is the 3rd piece of what you have to deliver on a monthly basis to be delivering really good value. And the amount or number of action items you can deliver in a month depends a bit on what level plan your customer is on. So if they're on that awareness level plan, you don't have as much energy and time to be able to put in action items, so that list might be small. If you're on the more accelerative plan, you need to get through more action items more quickly, and thus your to-do list each month is going to look larger. The other variable in there is the size of the website. A lot of the tasks that we do vary based on if you're working on 10 pages or 1,000 pages. And so scaling that into estimating what you can accomplish with your action items is also really important. In this case, we have month one, a kickoff. In month one, I always like to introduce our customers to that 4 pillars of SEO. It's something I'm going to continue to hammer in every conversation we have because it gives them that scaffolding to understand what we're focusing on and why. I might deliver to them an SEO score or an assessment of sorts. This is really measuring their presence against that 4 pillars. I'm going to start to set myself up with access to Google Analytics, the Google Search Console, and Google My Business. And I'm going to start in on keyword research, really that other foundational. I might even do some competitive analysis. In month 2, I'm often diving into things like sharing the keyword research and competitive analysis with the customer. So that's what I cover during our monthly call. I'm starting to rework some page titles and meta descriptions around that keyword research, really trying to apply the research into something action-based. I'm working on an XML sitemap and a robots.txt file, and doing things like 301 redirects if the site recently went live. In month 3, I'm often reviewing a lot of that on-site optimization work that we started on, and then helping them create a really good content strategy. So what your process looks like may be a little different than what my first couple of months look like, but these are sort of how we orient. This is how we move into a process-based approach to SEO and make sure that we're moving customers through on a consistent basis so that they end up on the other side of seeing those great results. Ultimately, I hope you walk away today feeling empowered to grow your business with SEO as a service. If you can master the pitch, the pricing, and the process, you're off to the races. And I'm Lindsay Halsey, and here's my contact information again. I'm really sorry that I'm not going to be able to join you live during your meetup, and I hope everybody is staying healthy and engaged in these changing and ever-changing times. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me over email, and there's my Twitter handle. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your personal questions and talk you through this further as we would have if I were here with you live. So thanks and have a great day.